षड गोसाई प्रभुगण की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन गिरिराज महाराज की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय। श्री क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। कावेरी माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। ग्रंथ राज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories and glories and glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutire. Nasta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulangayatim Yat Prapatamaham Vande Shri Guru Denatarinam Paramanandam Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. We welcome all the devotees to this wonderful festival day. Today is Ekadashmi, Bahime Ekadashi. Today's Ekadashi is called, and it's a very auspicious day. We are also observing the Dwadashi today, so devotees are requested to fast till 12, completely fast till 12. Today we will have a discussion from Srimad Bhagavatam. Be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3. Canto 3 is called The Status Quo, and chapter number 23, chapter titled Devahuti's Lamentation, and the text number is 57. Sa aham bhagavata nuna vanchita maya yadranam yatvam vimuktidam prapya namumuksheya bandhadat. Saham bhagavata nyonam vanchita maya yadridam yatvam vimuktidam prapya namumuksheya bandhanat. Saham bhagavata nyonam vanchita maya yadridam yatvam vimuktadam prapya namumuksheya bandhanat. Word-to-word translation. Sa, that very person, aham, I am, bhagavataha, of the Lord, Nyunam, surely, vanchita, cheated, mayaya, by the illusory allergy, dridam, solidly, yat, because, tvam, you, vimuktidam, who gives liberation, prapya, having attained, namumuksheya, I have not sought liberation, bandhanat, from the material bondage. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhai Charanaravindra Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. My Lord, surely I have been solidly cheated by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For in spite of having obtained your association, which gives liberation from material bondage, I did not seek such liberation. Purport. An intelligent man should utilize good opportunities. The first opportunity is the human form of life, and the second opportunity is to take birth in a suitable family where there is cultivation of spiritual knowledge. This is rarely obtained. The greatest opportunity is to have the association of a saintly person. Devahuti was conscious that she was born as a daughter of an emperor. She was sufficiently educated and cultured, and at last she got Kardam Muni, a saintly person, and a great yogi as her husband. Still, If she did not get liberation from the entanglement of material energy, then certainly she would have been cheated by the insurmountable illusory energy. Actually, the illusory energy is cheating everyone. People do not know what they are doing when they worship the material energy in form of goddess Kali or Durga for material boons. They ask, Mother, give me great riches, give me good wife, give me fame, give me a victory. But such devotees of goddess Maya or Durga do not know that they are being cheated by that goddess. Material achievements is actually no achievement, because as soon as one is illusioned by the material gifts, he becomes more and more entangled, and there is no question of liberation. One should be intelligent enough to know how to utilize material assets for the purpose of spiritual realization, and that is called Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga. Whatever we have, we should use it in the service of Supreme Person. It is advised in Bhagavad Gita, Swakarmana tam abharcharya. One should try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead by one's assets. There are many forms of service to Supreme Lord, and anyone can render service unto him according to the best of his ability. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to 3rd canto, 23rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter titled Devahuti's Lamentation. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagjatam Sahagana Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is a wonderful conversation here happening, and Srila Prabhupada very nicely puts it in the purport about what is one's responsibility when one takes birth in this material world, or wherever. We have come to this material world for certain cause, and when we come to material world, it is a certain responsibility that we go back home, complete our job, and go back home, right? So the starting of I'm sure some of us would have this question, why is it called Devahuti's Lamentation? She has been talking about all the good things. She has been talking about association with Kardam Muni. She has been given knowledge by Kapil Muni. All these are happening, but why is this chapter titled Devahuti's Lamentation? Well, as very nicely given here in the purport itself, Devahuti was born to Manu, and very well qualified, born in a very good family, very well qualified, sufficiently educated and cultured. And then finally, she got the best possible husband that she could think of. Kardam Muni, a very saintly person and a great yogi. It's not possible to get a good husband, but Devahuti was very, very lucky because of her own culture that she had got and her blessings of her parents. So she got this great devotee as her husband. And if she did not get liberation this particular lifetime, then that would have been the worst thing that could happen to her. So here she is lamenting, saying that despite having a wonderful husband, a great devotee of the Lord, Kardam Muni, as her partner in life, well, we all know, as we read in the couple of shlokas before, that she worshipped her husband. She did everything for her husband. Whatever was required in the ashram, she did. She did even the menial of the services that she could think of, like swapping the floors, cleaning the paraphernalia, keeping everything ready for her husband's daily requirement of oblations, keeping the yajna kunda ready and cleaning the yajna kunda after the yajna is completed, and all activities that one can think of. So in this way, we see she was very, very dedicated. She may not be worshipping the Supreme Personality of directly, but she was doing a lot of seva. The complete seva of the ashram was done by Devahuti. And Devahuti was born in a very aristocratic family. When she was in her father's place, she had so many maid servants to, help her do everything that was required. But when she came to her husband's house, when she was in the ashram with Kardam Muni, she would do everything all by herself. And despite being so cultured and getting all this kind of knowledge, she was lamenting, saying that I did not make the best of the opportunity that was provided to me by the Lord. Getting a good birth in a good family, getting good education, getting good culture, getting good husband are blessings. And despite having these blessings from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I did not make the best use of the available resources or the available opportunity that was given to me. So this is where this chapter is known as Devahuti's lamentation. Despite having Kardam Muni as her husband, she thought of having, association with him on a physical level and having a child. Well, this is again one of the pastimes of the Lord, where the Lord teaches us by his examples and the examples of the devotees. So it is also important. We've read in the previous chapter saying that, this was promised by Kardam Muni, saying that I will give you will bear a child from me who will become a great devotee of the Lord. And finally, as we all know, Kapil Muni was born out of Devahuti, and he was none other than the Lord himself. So it is very beautifully described here, saying that why Devahuti was lamenting, because she did not make the best use of the available opportunity that is given to us. But then that's again a teaching, that's a pastime of the Lord, which actually teaches us by example. So as we move forward from here, we see that, if one is entangled in the material energy, then we are actually cheated by the illusory material energy, because cheating is very easy. Maya can actually cheat us. It's very easy for Maya to cheat us, and especially in this age of Kali, though this age of Kali is the best of the age that one can think of. Because in the age of Kali, simply by chanting, I would say not just by chanting, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can go back home, back to Godhead. You did not perform austerities, you did not perform great yagyas, you did not have great knowledge of the Shastras. Yes, if you do all of them, if you read Shastras, it is very nice. If you perform austerities, it is nice. If you perform great yagyas, it is nice. But it has its own challenges in performing all this. So the Yuga Dharma for this Kali is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. And just by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can go back home, back to Godhead. On the contrary, if we see that if we do not act carefully in this Kali Yuga, we may be deceived, we may be disillusioned, we may get diverted into a different path in the material energy. And the material energy is very, very strong, and it's very easy for material energy to cheat. And here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that illusory energy is cheating everybody. And people who do not know what they are doing, they continue to worship the material energy in form of, Goddess Kali or Durga. And then you ask for material benefits. We ask for material benefits by like name, fame, good wife, good family, a lot of money, victory over people, all kind of things. But then you are actually getting cheated, because material achievements are no achievements in any case. As soon as one leaves the body, these achievements are all lost here. People forget. The day somebody dies, soon the cremation is done, and people turn around from the chitta or from the crematorium, they've forgotten that person. They've written off that person because that person is not available. So that is the material attachment or the material relationship that we have, which is very, very temporary. It is there only till the time that one's body gets consumed, one's body gets over. So because one is tied into the material energy, he gets more entangled into this material way of life, and there's no question of liberation. And when one is very, very intelligent, he knows how to utilize the material energy for the purpose of spiritual benefit, then he takes up to Krishna consciousness. And that's called Karma Yoga, or we can even call it as Jnana Yoga. And these details have been very, very nicely given in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where there's conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. Krishna at every stage clarifies the doubts of Arjuna. At every question that Arjuna has on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he has a doubt. And Krishna very nicely cuts the pieces, cuts the doubts into pieces from the sword of knowledge. And then he gives him complete knowledge. And finally tells him, just surrender unto me and forget everything. So, continuing our discussion on that, if one does the service in any form to the Lord, and anybody and everybody can render service according to the best of our abilities that we have. If one is a singer, he can sing nice kirtans, nice bhajans, glorifying the Lord. If one is an artist, yesterday we saw this exhibition by Haridas Prabhu, where he has nicely, drawn the pictures of Srila Prabhupada. They're so lively that if you see those pictures, you can't make out a difference that Srila Prabhupada is not sitting there. Srila Prabhupada is actually present in front of you, physically in front of you, in those form of those art which Haridas Prabhu has done. The detailing that has been done. So that's the kind of ability that the Lord has given him, and he's using this ability in the service of the Lord by beautifully drawing the pictures of Srila Prabhupada, nice quotes of Srila Prabhupada, different moods of Srila Prabhupada. And finally, this is being done for what? Not for his own personal purpose. It is not for his own benefit. He's going to use all these funds which are available for the purpose of serving to Srila Prabhupada. Yeah? So, as we see, devotees are always dedicated for all this. There was a very nice example where Srila Prabhupada was, once in the US. This was in Manhattan. And Srila Prabhupada was not keeping very well. And they were on the 13th or the 14th floor, on a, tall skyscraper. And this is in Manhattan. And Prabhupada wanted to go out and do Sankirtan. He wanted to preach. But then the devotees around him, Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they felt that Srila Prabhupada should take some rest and, he should recoup. So they went to Srila Prabhupada's room and said, Srila Prabhupada, you're not keeping good health. We would suggest that you should go back to the Gita Nagari farm for a few days and then take some rest and then, avoid this preaching programs that you're doing. And you'll be surprised what Srila Prabhupada said. Srila Prabhupada said, I want the benediction of dying in the service of Krishna, like Arjuna was fighting on the battlefield of Krishna. And while he was making this statement, suddenly the door of the elevator opens and Srila Prabhupada steps into the elevator and goes down for preaching. And he continues his preaching program. So here we see the opportunity that is given to Srila Prabhupada, not only for his purpose, for preaching, for spreading the holy name of the Lord. He's always ready. We could see that in the later part of the journey of Srila Prabhupada, while he was actually awaiting his travel back to Golok Vrindavan. He was in Vrindavan Dham. We've seen all this video. Srila Prabhupada on his deathbed was also translating Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's the kind of service that Srila Prabhupada wanted. He always said that I would like to die in the service of Krishna rather than sitting comfortably or taking rest. And he was always saying that Arjuna is the right example because he's ready. He's ready for the service of Krishna. Whatever Krishna said, he would do it. If we go back to the battle of Kurukshetra, 2/3 of the whole army was actually killed by Arjuna. And what was the thought Arjuna had? He wanted a big kingdom? No. He wanted a grand palace? No. Did he want victory for himself, for his name and fame? No. He was just doing it for the sake because Krishna had ordered him. When Krishna said, just go ahead and execute your orders as I say, Arjuna went on fighting. And 300,000 people were there. 300,000 people were killed by Arjuna all by himself, the opposite army. And this is also important. Every arrow that Arjuna used was useful, and it killed the opponent party. So, the army on the opposite side. So not even a single arrow was wasted, because Arjuna was doing it, all this in the service of Krishna. Because Krishna said, you're doing it. He said, yes, I will do it for you. So this is what we see, that whenever we get this opportunity, we should engage ourselves in the service of the Lord, or service of the devotees, or the service of the Vaishnavas. This will always be the great thing that we can do. So here Devahuti is also talking about this. So these are the examples that we're learning from Devahuti, saying that Mother Devahuti lamented because she did not take association. There's a very nice example. There's a very nice story. This was given by Keshav Prabhu. His Grace Keshav Prabhu is a Tamal Krishna Maharaj disciple. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj once was in Australia. He had gone on a preaching tour, and there were 3 devotees who were busy in the kitchen cutting fruits and making fruit juices and all other things for Maharaj, while Maharaj was giving class in the temple hall. This was in Melbourne. And soon after the class was over, Maharaj actually walks into the kitchen area and sees. So the devotees are, cutting the fruits and making the fruit juices. And they all felt that Maharaj would be very happy seeing that they're all engaged in the personal service of Maharaj. So Maharaj said, what are you doing here? So they said, Maharaj, we're making your, we're making the offering of fruits and juices to their lordship so that we could offer you as prasadam. Then Maharaj was really very furious at this. And Maharaj said, well, this work could have been done by one of you rather, out of the 3 that were engaged here. And you could do it in half an hour and you could listen to the class. I come all the way to preach here. You call me here to hear me, to hear Bhagavatam from me, but then you're not sitting in the hall. You're actually sitting in the kitchen and cutting fruits and vegetables and fruits. So this was a hard-hitting blow to the devotees who felt that they were doing this personal seva to Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. But Maharaj is very clear in his endeavor. And by this, the learning is saying that if your Guru Maharaj is giving class on Srimad Bhagavatam, you should leave all the work. You should dedicate yourself to the service of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the most important part of it. Not only this, Tamal Krishna Maharaj lived by his own examples. Once Srila Prabhupada was in the US and Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj was leading the Radha Damodar Kirtan Party. So Radha Damodar Kirtan Party, I'm sure all of you know, it is the buses which would travel from place to place and then distribute books and do a lot of sankirtan and preach to the people in the American subcontinent and especially US. So Srila Prabhupada is leaving to another place. I don't remember the name of the place distinctly, but then Srila Prabhupada was leaving from this place to another place. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj and the whole Radha Damodar party comes to the airport to see Srila Prabhupada off onto the flight. And the moment the flight takes off, they take this bus and travel all the night, travel all the night to the place where Srila Prabhupada is reaching. And the next day morning, by the time Srila Prabhupada is giving a Srimad Bhagavatam class, all the devotees of Radha Damodar party are ready there hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So by this, the example is very clear, saying that how important hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is. Well, Srimad Bhagavatam is also association, because it is the Lord himself. It is the pastimes of the Lord. So it is also like associating with devotees, or it is the pastimes of various devotees of the Lord. So it is also like associating with the devotees and taking the best benefit available to all of them. There's another example. This is again from the American pastimes of Srila Prabhupada while Srila Prabhupada was in America. I don't remember the exact temple where this was, but I heard about this, saying that Srila Prabhupada would every afternoon come out in the garden of the temple and sit for a little while. And all those devotees who were serving Srila Prabhupada would come around and talk to him and take instructions, not only take instructions, but also help Srila Prabhupada in executing his service. So there would be the personal assistant of Srila Prabhupada, secretary, who would take the replies to the letters, or they would read the letters for Srila Prabhupada and give all the instructions. So this has been happening every day. And there is another set of devotees who would go out distributing books. They would take their prasadam in the morning and then, complete the morning program, take the prasadam and go out and do book distribution, and then come back in the evening. And one day it so happened that Srila Prabhupada was sitting in the garden, and these devotees who are going out for Sankirtan every day happened to come back early. And Srila Prabhupada was sitting in the garden. They all come sit around Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada speaks to them for a little while and later asks. Tamal Krishna Goswami was again Srila Prabhupada's secretary that time. So these devotees are all sitting around. So Srila Prabhupada asks a question saying that these devotees don't have any seva. And then suddenly the devotees realize, saying that you should not just be hanging around your guru for no work. Yes, if you have instructions, or if you have work, if you have seva to your Maharaj, to your Guru Maharaj. Sorry for that bad throat that I have. So then you can be around. But if you do not have any work, you should not be hanging around. So this is a very clear instruction that Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj also makes, saying that if you do not have any work, please go out for Sankirtan. Please go out for book distribution. I remember this about Keshav Prabhu. He narrated this pastime. He was once in Sydney. He flew down from Melbourne and went to Sydney just because he got to know that Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj was coming there and he would be there for a couple of days. So he was very excited, and he went to Sydney and he was serving Maharaj. And while serving Maharaj, Maharaj would give him personal instructions. He would chant japa with Maharaj. He would also spend the Mangal Aarti program with him and a lot of things that they were doing. And Maharaj also had a lot of meetings which were happening around during those times. So Keshav Prabhu, once felt that, he was just wasting his time. So he went to Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and he says, Guru Maharaj, can I go out on book distribution? Because I'm just hanging around and I really don't have work. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj never objected to it. He said, actually, it was very nice. He could go out for book distribution, and Keshav Prabhu from that afternoon started book distribution and come back and do his seva. That doesn't mean that the seva should be hampered. So whatever was his seva, it is during those meeting hours when he was not required to be with Maharaj, he would go out and do book distribution and come back. So this is very important. This is very well thought of in ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada would say it is a sandwich. You have the morning program, you have the evening program, and then you have the filling in between. The filling in between is basically the sevas that you do, the service that you do, the association that you take, the association or the preaching that you have to give it to people, the book distribution that you have to do, the Harinam that you have to do. So it is very nicely packaged in these two things, about the service that we have to Srila Prabhupada. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Keshav Prabhu are giving this by their own examples, saying that how devotees have to execute their seva, how they have to associate with devotees, how they have to give this Krishna consciousness to everybody who's around by not wasting any of their time. Srila Prabhupada make this statement saying that, we should have the anxiety to serve Krishna. And this anxiety should be there all through the day, saying that how can I serve Krishna? How can I serve Vaishnavas? How can I serve devotees? How can I, do wonderful sevas in the temple? So if we do not follow that, see, this is all a part of association. And if we don't take this anxiety of association, if we don't take the anxiety of doing seva, then we will think of Maya and Maya will take over us. And this anxiety should keep you busy all through the day doing your seva. And at the end of the day, when you hit the pillow, it will be very easy for you to go to sleep by thinking of Krishna, because you've already done so much of seva. You've already done so much that is required to be done during the day. There's another very nice story. Again, this is about service. And when we talk about service, it is very important to understand the mood of Guru. So there are two incidents which I would like to relate. And when I relate these two incidents, it is very easy for us to understand as to what one needs to do and how one needs to understand the mood of one's Guru. Srila Prabhupada made the Mayapur festival very, very popular. And there was one year where every year the devotees from all over the world would come. But one particular year, the devotees from Germany, decided not to come to Mayapur. And the purpose of this was saying that they wanted to go out for book distribution. And all the time that they were to spend in Mayapur for the festival, they decided that they will go on a mega harinam or complete book distribution. And when Srila Prabhupada got to know about this, so Srila Prabhupada gave his accent. He gave the permission, saying that that's very nice. Devotees should go out and distribute books. There's nothing wrong. They should continue. And that's a very nice gesture on behalf of the German devotees that they are doing so much of book distribution. On the other side, there was one year when there were devotees from America to come to India. There were about 300 plus devotees coming to Mayapur for the Mayapur festival. And that time, Rameshwar Prabhu was the BBT head for America. And he asked Srila Prabhupada, saying that Srila Prabhupada, for every devotee to travel for the Mayapur festival, it's going to be about $1,000 and about 300 of them. So it's going to be about $300,000. And, that's quite a bit of money. If we can save that, we can think of some other option. But Srila Prabhupada said, no, don't get worried about that. Let devotees come to Mayapur. So here the difference is very nicely seen that Srila Prabhupada at different times gave different instructions to the same question. But then this is the understanding of a guru. So when one serves his guru nicely, he will get this understanding. Srila Prabhupada wanted the devotees of America to come and get this association at Sridham Mayapur. And that's why he said that the American devotees, despite spending $300,000, they wanted all of them to come to Mayapur. There's another, why I'm talking about all the stories is, it's very easy for us to remember the stories. And when we remember the stories, it's very easy for us to connect the dots, very easy for us to connect it with our own practical life as well. And this is by the examples of all the Vaishnavas, all the devotees, how association is so important and how we should not be lamenting for not taking association like Devahuti. This happened, a very short story that I would like to talk about is, this was while sometime in 1980s, a little part of the mid-80s, that one of our temple in Kazakhstan is a part of the erstwhile Russia, and then, it is next to, if you really see Afghanistan and follow, that is the belt that is in there, Kazakhstan is there. And then the government pulled down one of the ISKCON temples, and devotees were troubled, and so much of snowfall, so much cold there, and devotees were given so much of trouble. So the Indian devotees here decided that they would stage a protest against the doings of Kazakhstan's government at the Kazakhstan embassy in Delhi. So a lot of devotees came together. A lot of devotees came from Vrindavan, from Delhi, and all the nearby places. So they were staging a protest in front of the Kazakhstan embassy. Again, this is a seva. This was narrated by one of the devotees who was a part of the Japa retreat in Vrindavan. Govardhan, they have this Japa retreat every year. And His Holiness Sachinandan Swami Maharaj said, on that particular day, they were to chant 64 rounds, but Sachinandan Maharaj said, no, let's go and participate in the protest that we are doing in front of the Kazakhstan embassy, because that is also for the protection of the temple and the devotees in Kazakh. So they all come together, and, about 1,000 devotees march towards the Kazakhstan embassy to protest, saying that, no, you should not be doing this, stop all these atrocities that you're doing to the devotees, don't bring down the temple, and all of that. So here it is related, saying that 64 rounds of chanting was there on that particular day, but Maharaj decided that we should go on the protest against Kazakhstan. And all the devotees came together to do the protest. And this is a part of the association that is important, because we're doing it for the devotees, we're doing it for the temple, we're doing it for the Lord, we're doing it on a large scale, we're doing it for ISKCON, and on a very large scale that we do it, we are doing it for humanity. Because if temples come down, then people will lose faith and people will go out, devotees will be troubled, we will not be able to make more devotees. Likewise, this was a very similar example that happened during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see that when Chand Kazi had given an order that there cannot be Harinam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, led the procession. It was a peaceful procession, but led the procession with Harinam. Devotees from all over Bengal came together to protest against Chand Kazi's order, saying that the Harinam should stop. No, that is not going to stop. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got all the devotees together with loud chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. They took wide processions and moved towards Navadvip, to the place where Chand Kazi was ruling and residing. And they had massive Harinam Kirtan. So this has been giving the example, saying that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did so. Here also devotees were doing. So that's also a part of the service to the Lord. So the Samandhuman of a devotee's life is the service of Lord. Whatever is to be done should be done in the service of the Lord. Today, whatever we are doing, tomorrow, whatever we are going to do, or we are thinking of doing whatever tomorrow, has to be always dedicated to the service of the Lord. It has to be either serving the Lord directly, or serving the Lord through Guru, or serving the Vaishnavas. All these are considered as association. Even reading Srimad Bhagavatam, distributing Srimad Bhagavatam, attending Srimad Bhagavatam class, these are all association. And that's where you saw that Tamal Krishna Goswami was very heavy on devotees, saying that I come all the way for preaching. I come here to take classes for you. I come here to give association to you. And you're sitting in the kitchen. Come out and sit. So it's very important that when one's Guru Maharaj is giving classes, one should attend the classes, hear it carefully, and take instructions from there. There may not be direct instructions that may come to an individual, but while you hear, that is also an association. And while associating with Vaishnavas, while associating with Guru, while associating with the devotees, you get subtle instructions, which are very, very important for one's practice in Krishna consciousness. So this is about the wonderful pastime here. And here we are ending this chapter today with this 57th shloka, where Mother Devahuti is saying that, I wasted my time rather than taking association. So take the best, make the best available possible effort to associate with devotees. We will not have Srila Prabhupada's direct disciples for a long time, till the time that they are there on this planet. And sure, there are other wonderful devotees who are there, but the instructions that may flow from the direct disciples of Srila Prabhupada to us will also be very, very important. So till the time that they are on this planet, we've seen so many of our great devotees and Maharaj. Bhaktitirtha Swami Maharaj left his body, Sridhar Swami left his body, Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj left his body, Yamuna Mataji left her body, Haladini Mataji left her body, Jayanand Prabhu left his body. So many of our Vaishnavas are slowly, one by one, leaving their bodies from this material planet. They're going back home. They're associating with Srila Prabhupada in Golok Vrindavan, and they are having association there. But then we will be bereft if we don't take this advantage. Like Mother Devahuti says that I was born in a great family, I had a great husband, I had a great upbringing. But she was lamenting, saying that I did not take the proper association at the right time. We should not tomorrow be bereft of this association. So this is the right time for us to take the association of all the Vaishnavas, all the wonderful devotees and Sri Prabhupada disciples whenever they are around, and make the best use of our birth in this material planet, and especially in a place like India, where we've got this birth and we are associating with devotees. We are having this wonderful association and coming into Krishna consciousness has been a great asset for us. So we should not misuse, or we should not lose this opportunity that we have got to complete our work, complete our efforts to go back home, back to Godhead in this material life itself. I will end my discussion here on this. The learning for me today is saying that whatever opportunity that I have, I should not waste my time. I should not be lamenting by looking at the example that Mother Devahuti was lamenting, and I should associate with devotees and make the best use of available resources that I have around me. And the resources that have been given to me are the association of devotees, the wonderful deities that I can serve, and Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and all the Vedic literature that has been given to me. So we will end our conversation here. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. I would request devotees, if they have any questions, they can ask any questions that they might have. Also, if you have any comments, please go ahead and make the comment. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
So thank you very much.
For the wonderful
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. And wishing all the devotees a wonderful Bahimi Ekadashi. Please fast, avoid eating grains and grains today. It's a very auspicious day until 12 o'clock. It will be very nice if we can all fast Nirjal, if we can avoid taking anything till 12 o'clock. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.